Hello, everyone. Hope you are enjoying your time. Today, we are joining again to discuss a big controversy that is ensuing, particularly in India, with respect to Google Play Store. Recently, you might have seen that Anupam Mittal, who also shows up on Shark Tank 3 season and is owner of Shaadi.com, have been vehemently opposing the Google's takedown of several of Indian popular apps such as 99acers, Shaadi.com, Bharat Matrimony, and bunch of others actually. And this has been done after there was a court case that was filed against Google Play Store primarily, and couple of weeks ago, the court basically did not basically put Google liable to give free access to all these app owners, and they in this respect Google took down these apps, stating that they are not following the policies of the App Store. So let's understand what the App Store is and what were the previous policies, what changed, how does it impact the Indian startup ecosystem. So we all know in the Indian market primarily, Android is the biggest operating system, almost 90% or maybe even 95%, I would say, market share with respect to mobile phones in India, right? There are people who like Apple phones and all, but I think the market share is extremely low in India. Well, in the US it's quite opposite. In fact, the Apple phones, iPhones here in the US could be close to, I would say, more than 50% of the market. In fact, yeah, so Google Android ecosystem is not as big or monopolistic here in the US as compared to India. But let's boil down onto India. So what has happened is, back in the day, if you had any kind of app, you would basically host it over the Google Play Store, and Google Play Store will be available by default on all Android devices. So whenever you buy any phone, in the apps you will also see Google Play Store already there by default. And through Google Play Store you can basically discover, search any new apps that you want, and then you can download it from there. So pretty easy process, right? So what these app providers will get through Google Play Store are two things: discoverability and distribution. So distribution they get because Google Play Store is by default present in all Android phones that are sold in India by default. So that allows them to distribute because it is available across the board. And from a smartphone concentration penetration, I think India has over 350 to 400 millions smartphones across India, which is a pretty large number. And if we talk about internet users, they are above 600 million in India. And generally, people who do internet do have a smartphone. So I would even say it is over 600 million smartphones in India. So so I think now that we understand the premise that distribution is due to Android being like almost 95% of the market, and because of Android, Google Play Store is there by default. So all the people who are present on Play Store, they'll at least get the distribution. And since you are on the Play Store, your app is on the Play Store, there is a search bar, anyone can search for your app and download from there. So back in the day, this used to be free. Like anyone can host their app on the Play Store, and there is no problem. But Google updated their policy and said that now, if your app is going to basically charge their customers further, they are going to take anywhere between 15 to 30% in commissions. So, meaning, let's say you download Shaadi.com and then make a like a paid account on Shaadi.com and do any kind of like a payment transaction, then Google will take 15 to 30% of the cut from that paid transaction. So it's a clever strategy, right? Like back in the day, they didn't have anything like that, but now they want to introduce this. And if you don't comply, they will basically take you down. This is what they did a couple of days ago. So all these startups and people, particularly, I think founder of Shaadi.com, which is Anupam Mittal, who he was much more vehement, and then a bunch of other CEOs from India, various startups started like basically jumping up and down because it kind of impacts their business, right? So what did Google actually do? So Google came out with three options. So first option is that Google has its own payment gateway. They asked them to basically integrate their payment gateway, and they'll basically take 15 to 30% from there if you integrate their payment gateway. They also gave you the option to go for third-party payment gateways, so all your Razorpay, Just Pay, PayU, Paytm, so on and so forth. You can go for them as well, and even there the rates were between close to I think 11 to 26%, so not much different. Maybe couple of basis points here and there, but still pretty huge amount. And thirdly, they said do not take any payments. So if you don't take any payments, you don't need to integrate any payment gateway, and it will be completely free. Which means that they cannot charge the app owners cannot charge their end customers like you and me. Like if I take Shaadi.com as an example, right? So like now let's think about like can Google do this thing? Like are they allowed to do this thing? The answer is yes. They own the Android platform, they own the app store, so they can do whatever they want. I mean, back in the day it was completely free. Now they want to charge money for it, they can do that. uh, are they monopolistic? Yes, they are, because they own like almost 95% of the market. There is no other operating system other than iOS. But if you go to iOS, even there they charge. They always charge from the very starting. Like in iOS, there was always charge. It was never free. Google was free basically. iOS was never free, and nobody made a hue and cry because iOS always was chargeable. Like you couldn't kind of. So I don't know exactly how much they take, but it was always chargeable. And anyway, iOS market is very small in India, so you wouldn't hear much about it. So what happens next? Is it monopolistic? Sure, it is monopolistic because there is doesn't exist any kind of free operating system such as Android in the Indian market. I don't know of any other. Like there were some like Indus operating system that some Indian company built. I don't know what their market penetration is. As I'm saying, almost 90 to 95% is like Android. So even if they exist, it must be like very very small, less than probably 1%, I think. That is why we don't even know about it and talk about it. So they are monopolistic, and as a company, it's a for profit company. They can charge you money for it. Now the question is money being so high? I don't know if there is a law that exists that can stop from companies to charge like high fees. It can be termed as monopolistic. Sure, it is a monopolistic business, but then they are already giving you three options, right? And There were a lot of post and a lot of debate around, like even Swiggy and Zomato is charging shop owners like between 25 to 30%. All the like the hotels and the restaurants and shops that are selling food, even Swiggy and Zomato charge them. Then why are they allowed to charge them? If you are a seller on, let's say, Flipkart or Amazon, even they charge you like 25-30% of the sales. It's a very hard or very nuanced way of saying these things, but technically whenever you are dependent upon the platform, they will basically charge whatever they deem fit. There's nothing much you can do. Even with respect to Uber and Ola, they will charge their drivers like 25-30% fees actually as well. So if you are on the platform, you got to comply with the platform policies. So that's what Google is enforcing. And the problem here is, since in the starting it was free, people got used to it, got very dependent upon it, and later on they basically started putting a charge. I think this is the year of efficiency. You'll see a couple of other podcasts also that I have made. A lot of companies are now focusing very heavily on profitability, cutting down costs, and they're looking for new monetization schemes. So this could be their avenue of monetization, and they're looking for their existing properties that they have on the internet, how they can continue to monetize or better monetize, improve efficiency. So they would do those kind of things that may not seem very reasonable for the end customers or app providers. So I think from an app perspective, what are the alternatives? See, the alternatives are the following. So Shaadi.com also has a website, right? So they can have a like a download Shaadi app directly from their website. and basically have people download directly from their website on their phones, so they can completely avoid the Play Store. So that's an option that they have. Um, or they can make the app like completely free. They don't have to do any transactions in the app, but whenever a time comes to make payment through the app, they can redirect them to the website. So rather than opening within the app, it basically redirects to the website. A web page opens up, and that's where they can do the transaction. So that's another way they can basically bypass the app. So I think these are the only two ways that I think, if you don't have to rely on the Play Store, can be done. So either update your app so that on the Play Store, the app that is there when people download it, and if they want to convert into a paid member of, let's say, Shaadi.com, when they go to that experience on the app, they are redirected to their web page to do the basically financial transaction through the third party payment gateway that they have today as well, not having to do it with Google. So Google cannot charge for that one. But if the transaction happens within the app, any purchase happens within the app, then basically Google will take away that share, 15 to 30% that I was talking about earlier. And the alternative option is that just like have it directly linked on your website, and through their website they can directly download the app. Now both of these experience will not be as seamless as how they do download over the app store, because for the obvious reasons. One, because whenever you download something directly from the website, um, it is not tested by Play Store. It has not validated the policies, etc. So whenever you download it on your phone, it will show like a lot of concerns and warning that this app is not validated by Google. Take it on your own risk, etc. So when it shows that kind of message, then it will be like a friction in the minds of the users or the customers as to whether they have to download this app or not. So that's one problem. Second thing is, app discoverability will be big problematic thing, because if you don't have this app on your Play Store, then basically you will not get that kind of a distribution which you were getting earlier, and even discoverability will go down because you cannot search for this app on the Play Store. So that's another big problem. So your customer acquisition cost will increase, because now you cannot find the customers which you used to find earlier. And lastly, I would say, it does not impact the existing customers. So this is only going to impact the new customers. So if you already have downloaded those apps, you don't have to worry. I think your experience will continue to work as it used to do, but it is for new customer acquisition. So if a new customer is trying to download the app, that's what they are not going to be able to do. Other alternative option that I talked about is basically continue to have your app. That means they have to update their app that to disallow any in-app purchases, and then whenever a payment purchase is required, it redirects it back to the website. So basically, what would happen is that you'll open a app and you're trying to do a payment transaction. So it will basically shut down the app, open up the website, and then on the website the transaction will happen. Again, it increases friction points, because now you're not able to do your stuff within the app, and now you have to go onto the website and complete the transaction there. But these are the only two options now available. So either pay to Google and everything works as it used to do, and whatever transaction happens, the cut will go directly to the Google, which could be in the amount of 15 to 30%. And if you don't do it, there are two options. Either make your app completely free, which could be beneficial for end customers like us, right? I mean, I'm already married. I wish it was the case before I got married, so at least I wouldn't have to pay for the paid module for Shaadi.com. But people who are not unmarried can try it if it becomes free. I think Anupam Mittal is he's a big businessman, so he'll definitely find a way. So I think this controversy over the last few days created a lot of news in India. Even the Indian government came in action and they started talking to Google. And as a result, all these apps that were banned, removed from App Store, have been reinstated for now. But I think they have been reinstated in the option that you cannot do any transaction, like monetary transaction on these apps. So basically, the third option that Google was offering them anyway. So Google has not changed anything. These apps are back up again, but they cannot do any financial transaction on Google, which is what the third option was from Google. So this is where it is. And companies who basically don't want to do any changes, etc., will end up basically paying 15 to 30% of their revenues to Google that come through the transactions which are done in app. So I hope you understood this controversy. It may be a little bit more technical, but all those controversies that happen, I try to like break it down into a layman language so that most of the people can understand it. Do write to me, let me know if you have any thoughts, any concerns, any suggestions. I'll like to cover those things as well. I hope you are enjoying your time. This was what we wanted to discuss today. Thank you very much. Do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll get back to you soon on a new topic.